Alright guys, in this video we're going to be doing a little bit of a Nintendo Switch 2 discussion. What's been happening over the past weeks now that the pre-orders are pretty much said and done. Can you still get one? Where can you still get one? Some other news and information regarding the Switch 2 download sizes. All that good stuff. So let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the pre-orders. Let me know in the comments if you got a pre-order. So online pre-orders are pretty much sold out everywhere. You are not going to be able to get one online at this point until there's a restock happen, or until there is, of course, after the release day, after the launch day of the system. There is the possibility that GameStop stores do still have in-person pre-orders. The in-person pre-orders are reserved for in-person only. So they're not going to be taking any of the units that they've reserved for in-store pre-orders for the online pre-orders. So it does not hurt to go check your local GameStop if you're near one, just to go see. Maybe they have a couple left. I know some stores, my store in particular, got about 25 base units and about 40 bundle units. And I think they had a couple left over after the line. Of course, those are probably gone now, but it would not hurt to check, especially if you live in a less populated area. So, go to GameStop, check out. There have also been rumors that Target is going to have units on sale in-store day one. They have reserved units for in-store day one. So, if you weren't able to get a pre-order online or at GameStop, your best bet might be to go to Target on launch day and get one there. I've also heard that Best Buy, not at the midnight launch that Best Buy might be doing. I know some Best Buys are doing a midnight launch and some aren't, but not during the midnight launch, but during the next day when the stores open, they also might have some stock for in-person purchase. So Target, Best Buy would be your go-tos. GameStop is, as of right now, having none. No word for Amazon still. All we know about Amazon is they didn't want to participate in pre-orders. We have no information about launch day for Amazon. I would not be surprised if Amazon does not get a Switch 2, does not get Switch 2s until a couple months into the console. So don't expect anything from Amazon at this point unless we hear something different. But yes, Best Buy and Target are going to be your best options likely for launch day pickup if you have not pre-ordered. So the next thing, Nintendo put a little, they're really pushing the GameCube Nintendo Switch Online. They put up a really cool thing for the Nintendo GameCube online service, for the Nintendo Switch Online service. This was at a Nintendo Switch 2 experience in Tokyo, because they're still doing experiences and having people come and try out the system. So they had this cool thing up there. They're really pushing the GameCube one, rightfully so. This is probably the most excited people have been for Virtual Console on the Switch so far. And it looks pretty good. All the game editions have been ones people wanted for the most part. The online, of course, is going to be very fun. I know me and my friends are definitely going to be playing F-Zero and Soul Cal. So yeah. They're really going to be pushing the Nintendo GameCube Virtual Console, I think, on the Switch 2. That's going to be like another big thing, because I'm pretty sure the Nintendo GameCube Virtual Console is going to be there at launch. No clue if it's going to be on Switch 1 and Switch 2. I would assume it's coming to both, because remember, these are just GameCube games, but they very well could limit the GameCube Virtual Console to Switch 2. I cannot confirm one way or the other. Also, there's been some rumors that the Switch 2 is going to have themes, which is something many people have been asking for the Switch 1. I know I have, and pretty much all my friends have. I had a modded Switch at one point that had themes, and I could change them and make them, and it was amazing. And I think it's something the system should really have by default. The two options, the black and white, were just not cutting it. So, yes, there's been some rumors that the Switch 2 is going to have some themes. I've heard a couple different ideas. I think the most likely scenario is they are just going to be like how after a while of the Switch, they added that little like Nintendo News app. And when they started adding, you could get, like, for games that you owned, you could get profile icons and borders to make your profile something that they didn't already offer. They made a bunch of key art visuals and things that you could set your profile to be. I think you could claim those with the silver coins, I think, or the platinum coins, whatever they call them. I believe that they're going to do the same thing for the Switch themes. They're just going to, like, if you own the game, you'll have access to get that game's theme with your coins, and then you can get it after whatever the requirements are. Some of them, for the icons, it's like you have to play the game 3 times or play it for a certain amount of time, but usually it's like an hour. So yeah, that's probably what they'll do. Maybe we'll get paid ones as well. I wouldn't necessarily want there to be paid ones if we can just get ones like how we got the coin icon stuff. That would be ideal. But if we do end up getting paid ones, I think the way they should do it is for every title that comes out that's going to have themes. So in this example, we'll say Donkey Kong Bonanza. If Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to have themes when it comes out, let's say it's going to get 3 themes for the Nintendo Switch 2. They're making 3 home themes for Donkey Kong Bonanza. When you purchase Donkey Kong Bonanza, digitally or physically, if you purchase it digitally, you'll get to choose one of those 3 themes. And then if you want to get the other ones, you could buy the other ones on the eShop for like $2 or $3 or whatever they're going to make it. Hopefully it's no more than 5 for its home menu theme, dear lord. But yeah, that could be a way. And then for physical copies, once you put the game in the Switch, it's just going to open up the eShop and give you the option. That seems a lot less likely to me. The only problem is with how monetization focused Nintendo is. I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up getting purchasable themes, but I feel like the most likely scenario is they're going to be redeemable with the coins in the Nintendo Switch Online app on the system. So yeah, hopefully that's the case. For Dragon Ball fans, the Nintendo Switch 2, or Dragon Ball Sparking Zero for the Nintendo Switch 2 has been officially rated in Saudi Arabia, so no more rumors of Sparking Zero coming to Switch 2. It is 100% confirmed. The game has been rated for the Nintendo Switch 2 system, and we'll probably start seeing a lot more ratings pop up now that information got out, so we'll probably see a bunch more. But yes, Sparking Zero is coming to the Switch 2, which I know a lot of Dragon Ball fans are excited for. One of my friends, he is he is stuck on PS4. He does not have a PC, but he might be getting the Switch 2, so this will be his first time playing the game, which is great. But yeah, Sparking Zero is coming to Switch 2, which is awesome. And the final thing that I do want to mention is the Nintendo Switch 2 game download sizes. So we did get an official graphic for some of these games, just a range of games, so we can kind of know what to expect with the Switch 2 download sizes, since we are getting that incredibly increased 256GB internal storage. So if we take a look at the graphic, Cyberpunk 2027 fully digital is just about 60GB. Now, keep in mind, Cyberpunk 2027 is the biggest game coming to the Switch. It's 60GB, which, don't get me wrong, that's a lot. But that's a lot less than the other console versions and the PC version. So take that as you will. I think it's a good thing, considering, we only get 256GB of storage if we're going to be getting games like Cyberpunk. But again, Cyberpunk is the biggest game. Of course, we have other games. We have Yakuza 0 at about 54. And then we go into some of the lower games here. Mario Kart World, fully digital, is only 23.5GB. I saw a lot of people saying that due to the fact that these Switch 2 games are going to be bigger, that's why we got the bigger storage from, like, what was it, 20GB or 30GB to 256. The game sizes are going to, escalate with that, so where if you didn't have a micro SD card in your Switch 1, you could only have 2 or 3 games digitally downloaded. A lot of people were saying it was going to be the same case for the Switch 2, just bigger numbers, but those people are completely wrong. Mario Kart World, a brand new game coming out for the Nintendo Switch 2 that is 100% open world with loads of content, is only 23.5GB out of the 256. And that's the biggest one, aside, for whatever reason, Breath of the Wild, which we'll get to in a second. Bravely Default is only 11GB. Donkey Kong Bonanza is only 10GB. That's insane. Zelda Breath of the Wild is 24.2. It's almost a whole gigabyte bigger than Mario Kart World, and that really just shows how unoptimized this game is. But that does include the Switch 2 Edition enhancements. So the game originally is 14.4, and then you're getting a 9.8 gigabyte increase because of the Switch 2 Edition, the enhancements, and the changes. 9.8 gigabytes is a lot of data for just a performance enhancement, so there might be some new content in there that they haven't shown us, but I don't think that's the case. I think that is just because of how poorly optimized Breath of the Wild was in the first place, being a Wii U game that last minute got thrown together to be a Switch launch title. And that's also why Tears of the Kingdom is a lot more refined as a game, but not only in its gameplay, but in its size. Being only now the Switch 2 Edition coming out at 19.9 gigabytes, a whole near 5 gigabyte less than Breath of the Wild, despite being more expansive and having more things to do. They really optimized it with Tears of the Kingdom, and that's showing because the Switch 2 Performance Upgrade Edition is only an additional 3.6 gigabytes over the digital edition on the Switch 1. So that pretty much makes, the difference. We also got a couple more games on here. We do have Kirby and the Forgotten Land is going to be 13 gigabytes. 5.8 is the original, and 11 gigabytes is the Switch 2 Edition upgrade. Now that is also because we can't forget that this upgrade is not only an upgrade, but it's also DLC Star-Crossed World. And with the fact that it's 11 gigabytes, it seems like they are pretty much gonna double the content in Kirby Forgotten Land with this DLC upgrade, which is amazing to see. I loved this game. My girlfriend really likes this game. So hopefully this DLC is pretty expansive. And then it's the same deal for Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV. This is a Nintendo Switch Edition and DLC wrapped up into one. It's also 13 gigabytes, with 5.3 being the 5.3 gigabytes being the original game and 7.7 gigabytes being the upgrade / DLC. So again, it seems like they're going to be adding a lot of content to these upgrade editions that are functioning as upgrades and DLC. The only exception being Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but I believe that's just due to how poorly optimized the game is. Because look at the chart, Donkey Kong Bonanza is 10 gigabytes, and just the upgrade data for Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 Edition is almost the same size, and that's not even including the game itself. So, what do you guys think about these download sizes? Are you disappointed with the size of these, or are you impressed? Me personally, I would say that I am very impressed. I was sort of expecting the games to get a lot bigger, considering that, when we got 20 or 30 gigabytes internal storage on the Switch 1, we could only have, 2 or 3 digital games downloaded unless we bought a micro SD card. But doesn't seem like that's going to be the case anymore with these game sizes. I mean, just judging based on this, you're going to be able to have 4 or 5 games, at least these bigger games, 4 to 5 of these bigger games digitally downloaded at once per 100 gigabytes, give or take. So with 256, you're going to be having around anywhere from 20 to 25 digital games at once with no extra storage required, which is very, very solid. And that's only assuming these are, bigger IP Nintendo games. This does not really include a lot of the third-party titles that are smaller, or any of the third-party titles that are larger like Yakuza and Cyberpunk. So keep that in mind. It's going to be variable, but just in general, about 20 to 25 digital download games without needing the new micro SD Express card. And then when you get one of those, if you do, that's even more games. I might not even be getting a micro SD Express card because I don't think I'll need one with the internal storage based off of these. Donkey Kong Bonanza being 10 gigabytes says a lot about their sizing for these games going forward. Donkey Kong Bonanza is a full-on Nintendo Switch 2 game. Mario Kart World is a full-on Nintendo Switch 2 game. Neither one break the 25 gigabyte limit. We'll have to see how it goes forward with other games like Pokemon Legends ZA, but I don't think it's going to be as insane as we thought. So let me know your guys' opinions on these down in the comments, And that's pretty much I have to talk about to you guys today. If I should do another one of these videos, or if I should do these more often, maybe once a week, let me know in the comments. I can totally do that because I'm looking at all this stuff on Twitter all the time. Might as well cover it for you guys, right? But without any more delays, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have a good day, night, whatever it is for you. And yeah, happy Taco Tuesday.